So we are here and we're going to talk to you today with the powerful Thrive Network. And we're going to do what's called the EXP Explained tour for you. And I'm really excited to have our team on this call today. And we're with Sean Goerss, Devin Doherty, Mr. Vlad Kats, Tina Beliveau, and the one and only James Black. What's going on, people?
What up?
Woohoo!
How are you?
Yeah, isn't this exciting?
It is.
Yeah, so we see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go as quickly and succinctly through this EXP model as we can. And you guys here are welcome to jump in, and you can kind of help me facilitate as well. And we just want to share with you, some of the reasons or a lot of reasons why we chose to make the switch from the other companies we were at and move over to EXP, and share with you also some of the things we've learned, at least for me, some of the things I've learned over the last 9 months, some of the things that I've really benefited from, and some of these other folks are going to do the same thing. So we're really excited to get this thing started. And what we're going to cover today are these slides that Devin, anybody can access these slides, right?
That's right. They can just go right to your website, David, and they can pull them up there. What is it? davidhill.exprealty.careers.
Yeah. So if you want to just check out the slides on your own, because we're going to kind of go through each slide, and we're not going to touch every single point. So if you want more information, you want to go deeper in the weeds, you can contact any of us or just go to the site. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to focus on a few of the slides today. So let me jump to the first one, which is going to be, we're going to talk about Glenn Sanford, who's the founder of EXP, and and what he was able to accomplish. And Devin, I know you and Glenn are close, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Very, very blessed.
Tell us a little bit about Glenn and what's important about Glenn Sanford.
Yeah, Patrick Lencioni wrote, he's a really great visionary leader, author, and he wrote something about being humble, hungry, and smart. And that is the epitome of Glenn Sanford. Glenn Sanford he is incredibly humble. He is now a multi-billionaire thanks to what's going on with the stock. But I met him in 2017 at an Inman conference, and our original team, our national expansion team under the old brokerage model, was being awarded an Inman Award. And if you go to the next slide forward for a second, we can come back to this one. You'll see that on 2018 in the upper right-hand corner, it shows that Glenn was offered the Inman Innovator Award of the Year for Broker Owner. Well, in 2017, our team was the ones that were awarded the runner-up of that award. And so he actually called me in December of 2017 and said, "Hey, Devin, I want to talk to you about EXP." And my attitude at that time was, thank you. And it actually started me on a quest for figuring out where we were going to go with brokerage. So if you go back to the other slide where his face is on there, you'll find that what I didn't realize at the time that I now know is that humble, hungry, and smart are what caused him to go from literally a penny stock guy, a guy with just an idea who had a buyer's team up in Bellingham, Washington, to being able to dominate the real estate world. And the Swanepoel report is out now, calling him one of the most dominant forces in real estate history. So very, very blessed to know him personally and professionally. And now we're sitting on a platform with over 40,000 agents. If you go forward 2 slides, you'll see what's going on with our growth. I met him, if you look at the time chart there, I met him at the end of 17, early 18. And look at that hockey stick of growth that's happened since then. Now, I wasn't wise enough to get started back then. I got started in 2020, and I still learned that this is an incredible opportunity. So I would just say hats off to Glenn. But by the way, Glenn has formulated a massive team. He would not take any credit. He would give all the credit to the team that he's formulated. Jason Guessing, Dave Kennord, so many amazing people in the world of EXP.
So let me ask you this question, or anybody can jump in here. Like I obviously it makes sense to join if you would have joined in 2017 or 2018, just like if you would have bought Zoom stock on March 18th of this year, you'd be in pretty good shape, right? But why do you think, for the people that think, well, I've kind of already missed out on that, is that the case, or is there still a lot of opportunity for growth here?
I would love to take this one. So I feel so passionate that the answer is no, it's totally not too late. The thing about EXP that has blown me away is the proposition to be a selling productive agent at EXP. The value is just off the charts. The compensation's amazing. The stock is amazing. The technology is incredible. So like none of that has changed. It's actually improved because as EXP grows and gets more well-funded, they keep rolling out new services, new support. The staff is amazing. So the time is now or as soon as you can get here, in my opinion.
I mean, if you look at this, you're talking about in 11 years to be able to create this type of growth. I know a lot of the other companies talk about the hockey stick. I mean, but we're really experiencing the hockey stick here. You know, why do you think that is?
Vlad Kats, I would love to have you chime in on this because you study leadership and growth, and I know that you have a really good perspective on this.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be glad to, guys. It's you know, why is there a hockey stick? Well, it's because Glenn and his crew have laid down the foundation that's necessary for a company to scale, and that's what we're all experiencing, is a company that's scaling. And when you look at EXP as a brokerage, it's essentially a platform. So again, Glenn, you know, Devin knows this, everybody knows this, that Glenn comes from a tech background. And so like when it comes to the brokerage model, it is probably the most tech forward brokerage platform that it currently exists in the real estate space. So when you build a foundation for scalability, once the foundation is built, the next step is scalability, and scalability looks like a hockey stick. Now, something that I want to say, you know, to Tina's point is like, you know, it's absolutely not too late. In fact, this may be like the next couple of years may be the best time to actually join EXP Realty, and here's why: because it's a lot less risk today than there was for the pioneers, like the Gene Fredericks, Glenn and his team. Like 5-10 years ago, you had to take on a lot of risk. Will it work? Will it not work? Today, we know it works. And it works really well. So risk adjusted. In my opinion, this is the best time in the next few years, probably through like 2023, 24 are going to be some of the best times to join EXP, because the model is just going to strengthen on itself, which is what typically happens with companies that are scaling.
I was talking to some of the, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
No, I was gonna say, I agree, Vlad. I moved it to this slide, and you know, that's, and Devin, you're welcome to add as well.
I was just going to say one more thing, and that is that I was talking to some of the top influencers this week about what's going on, and it's literally going to be the greatest opportunity in real estate history in the next 12 months. EXP has their sights on 100,000 associates by the end of 21. We're currently at 40,000. And if you look at that transfer and what that hockey stick is going to look like, it is everyone's opportunity, because you're becoming in and you're becoming a franchise owner of a non-franchise. You're becoming a broker owner without having to have the burden, and you have the ability to have a massive growth opportunity right in front of you right now. It's super, super cool. Big opportunity for getting the clarity of knowing that, you know, you're literally having a mass exodus from many other organizations, and people are running to this platform because it is a platform. It's truly like what you see on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think, and, you know, to talk to this part of it with, you know, like, so I, at my old company used to, you know, I was a team leader at Keller Williams. So a lot of people know that. So I recruited a lot of agents, and I used to talk about the platform. And what I realized from talking about the platform is actually the platform is at EXP, because we have one place now where I can go, where I can get access to everything I need. I have access to my IDX. I have access to my contacts. I have access to mortgage. I have access now to a cash offers program. I have access to title, to insurance, to everything. And not just that, but it's a place where the buyers and the sellers are also have access to the information that we're giving them. And I think it's just absolutely fantastic. I think it's an evolving, like a lot of these examples up here. You know, if you look at Blockbuster, everybody used to go to Blockbuster, right? That was the way it was done until Netflix showed up, and then all of a sudden Blockbuster didn't make sense anymore. I don't know if, we were having this conversation earlier today with some people. Is real estate going to go, like, as of today, it's December 15th or 16th, 2020. Is real estate ever going to go back to the exact same way it was before March 15th, 2020? I don't think
There's been too much innovation. People are not going to want to go backwards. And I mean, I'm sure there are people who are going to want certain things to go back. But I think at the end of the day, like the efficiency from the technology that we get to experience at EXP, even just being paid seamlessly, all of that, it's not like people are going to be like, can I go back to taking a check into my office? Crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
think about it in terms of growth. And Jim, you're probably you're a really great person to discuss this. Like growing a brand, growing a brokerage, growing a business. You can do it the brick and mortar way, right? Which, by the way, like think about like Blockbuster or Circuit City or any traditional brokerage. When they want to expand, they need to go somewhere else, learn the market, get a lease or buy a building, hire staff. Does it work? Absolutely. But we're not in the conversation whether it's working or not working. We're in conversation what works better or what's more effective, what's more efficient. And Jim, like, your journey, you went through brick and mortar, you're thinking about independent, right? Like maybe you can just chime in.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the independent model and do I do that? And EXP was really the only other model I was looking at. And because I saw it as, really just a platform. And then when I talked to you guys about Thrive, I realized that my biggest fear with going independent was to not have the support. And what I realized is I could actually come in and have more support through the Thrive network and through all the support I've gotten in the trainings that are there. It's actually helped from people that are in independent brokerages. It helps. There's lots of training that took off my plate, that I didn't have to have a training for my team every week because it was stuff supplied. And I didn't have to worry about dealing with broker situations because I had a broker. So for me, that's been probably the biggest thing, is just it's actually been a lot smoother and easier to run my business in that model.
Awesome. And I don't think, I mean, my opinion, nobody's going to a store to get their movies from Netflix, right? You don't go to Amazon stores. Like what people love about Amazon is the fact that you can simply on your device in like a minute purchase anything you want, and then it's on your doorstep, within 24 hours. And that's evolution. Same thing with Uber, right? There's a lot of people that aren't driving cars anymore now because it's easier, cheaper, and efficient just to have an Uber pick them up and move them around. So we're in an evolving industry. Real estate's been done the same way for so long. And that was a big part of the reason why I went to EXP as well, because I see the evolution, I see the change. And some people may go back to sitting in the office all day, but I'm telling you, as an industry, I think the majority of the people, are going to continue, using technology, using tools, doing virtual listing appointments. It just makes so much more sense. Were you going to add something, Devin?
I just was going to go ahead, Vlad, you jump in.
Thanks. Like, look, it's funny we're talking about technology, right? And like proliferation of something new. Today is actually a historic day that has nothing to do with real estate and has to do with technology. Today is the first time that Bitcoin crossed $20,000. Okay, and many are calling Bitcoin as the tech gold or the new gold.
Yep.
Right. So like, think about it. Like somebody's saying that like this blockchain technology, this cryptocurrency is something like we already know, and it's a lot more valuable than an ounce of gold. And so like when we're talking about technology, it's like EXP, again, like I said, is that tech forward brokerage. That's actually like revolutionizing the way that we do things. Now it's doing it. It looks very simple. It looks very similar to the way things already work. So technology rarely like boom and it blows stuff up. it actually slowly but surely changes the way we look at things. And I know, Sean, you're a big techie guy. Sometimes, you geek out on this type of stuff. Maybe like you can chime in on some of the tech tools
Yeah.
that you've been using.
Sure. Well, and what you're seeing is this. So the last industrial revolution we had, right, was what that was around the assembly line. The one we're going through now, and that's hitting different industries at different times, is the digital revolution, right? Where everything is digitally based. Is the first ever nationwide broker that is digitally based, right? So we know when there is a lot of change, when there's a revolution like this that disrupts an industry, and look, it hits different industries at different times, right? Expedia hit the travel industry at a different time. And now we're just seeing that it went through with Tesla, it went through with Netflix. Now it's happening with EXP. Here's the numbers, David, by the way, for those, because I'm kind of a numbers guy. I'm a high-paced numbers guy at DC, for those of you who know that, the DISC personality profile. Here's some numbers for you. EXP is at 40,000 today. How many licensed realtors are there in the United States?
Like 1.4 million or something.
1.4 million. So I like to run math. I had a coach named Tony DeSello who taught me math. That's 2.85%. Do you know how much market share Amazon has of the e-commerce market today in 2020? 47%.
Wow.
Wow.
47%. Why do they have 47% market share? Because they built a digital platform for people that needed to go shopping. My wife and I use Amazon or Shipped or whatever. There's no reason for us to go in. And unfortunately, the pandemic has just accelerated that for real estate, right? Because we are in a physical industry, right? We're selling or renting houses. And yet people realize, when I want to do business with my broker, to your point, David, I can do business with my broker on my terms on a digitally based platform. And I don't have to deal with red tape. I don't have to deal with drama. I don't have to deal with ego. I can deal with a company that's going to give me the broker services I need on my terms, where I want it, on my device, on my computer. And I don't have to step into an office. I don't have to go and interview with, a particular manager and hope they like me. And I don't have to, play around with little territories and have an office over here and not tell anybody. I don't have to deal with that anymore, right? I just don't. I just get Netflix anytime I want it. Now I can get my brokerage anytime I want it. So that's what you see happening today. And there's a lot of room for growth. EXP can easily go from 2.8% to whatever, right? That can definitely happen. And we are not even talking about internationally.
Yeah. And, I brought the slide back, Sean, because I think, some of the stuff we were talking about, is here, it's there's no, with your typical brokerage is the costly overhead, right? We're a cloud-based brokerage, right? Some of the things that, I think some of the challenges, I guess I hear other agents are concerned about, which aren't real challenges. Well, there's no training. There's not going to be support. How do I get in touch with my broker? Right. Or I got to go to the office. There's no office. All that stuff is inaccurate.
It's natural. People used to ask the same thing about, how am I going to watch a movie on the internet? Right. And so it's natural for these questions to come up. And look, all of the other models don't have to fail for this one to succeed. Right. So I love all my friends at all my other brokerages. Yeah. So it's not like we're putting any of them down. I think there's lots of benefits to each one. I mean, I know people who still go to the Blockbuster. I think there's one left in Alaska. People go there for nostalgia, right? But my kids are looking forward to that today when they can still go back to a movie theater. But guess what? We have Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, because Wonder Woman's coming out on HBO Max, right? I mean, all of Warner Brothers 2021 movies, all 17 blockbuster movies, are all going to be simultaneously released on HBO Max. So that you're seeing a shift in consumer behavior. What other indie broker do you know, Jim, to your point? Can you imagine, Jim, being an indie broker and having to try to host 50 hours a week worth of training? right?
Yeah,
I mean,
you
it,
can't.
can't
That's
compete
like I
against
said,
that.
that right there is worth the price of admission right there. Not having to
Well,
do that training.
and just to speak to Glenn for a minute, because he's always had the mindset of doing it the best that it can be done, almost like a Bezos type of attitude towards that top versus just doing it at a level where doing it the best he knows how. The best of every category of training is available because that's who we're attracting to the platform. So you're not only hearing amazing training, but you're hearing it from the absolute best in the industry.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I moved us to this slide is when you talk about the collaboration, not just the collaboration with EXP as a whole, because you have that collaboration in EXP world and on Facebook Workplace, but the collaboration with Thrive. Like one of the reasons I joined Thrive is you have a Sean Goerss on the team who's a tech. Sean and I, Sean's a nerd tech. I'm a nerd tech. We love talking tech, right? We're building stuff. But the guy closed what 400. How many houses did you close your last year?
Last year, our team closed 464 units on 5 million in GCI.
Yeah, 5 million GCI, right? There's a guy that I get to hang out with and talk to every day, right? Jim Black. I mean, what do you got? What are you doing? What kind of business? I know you got a small business, right?
Yeah, we'll do about 69 million in volume this year, about 235 sales this year.
Yeah, yes. Think about that, right? And Devin, I don't know what Devin does. He just hangs out with like Glenn Sanford and whoever knows who else he hangs out with. Like, and his average listing price is what, like 6 million or something? Ridiculous.
We do okay. Yeah, we're having fun. The thing that I will tell you is, like you said, a rising tide raises all ships. This is not the end of all traditional real estate. This is just how does a person optimize their way of being in the real estate market. And as we look at some of these other slides on stock and revenue share, I just go back to what's the article that just came out today from T3. Stefan Swanepoel says that EXP is the gold standard of real estate brokerages. He doesn't say that about anybody. He says that about EXP. He also says that real estate cloud brokerage takes flight, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal to see what's going on in that whole space of where the external is going on. The external is really starting to pay attention. Mad Money, I don't know, do you guys remember the quote from Mad Money? The guy Kramer, he said that I think real estate's been waiting for a cloud-based solution and it's found one. There is a lot of room for this company called EXPI. He called that out in August, and look what the stock has done since August. It's
amazing. We're going to get to the stock in a minute. And just looking at the expansion, just in the last couple of weeks, I've seen India, France, Mexico,
Portugal.
right?
Well, check this out, you guys. I know nothing about India or Indian real estate, but I know somebody who knows somebody, and I'm going to have 130 agents that are starting with our network in India in the next month or so in Bangalore and New Delhi, just from knowing somebody who knows somebody. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you talk about the equity opportunities, I mean, Jim, I don't know if you want to touch either Jim or Tina, you can kind of share on the equity opportunities a little bit, but how you can become shareholders. I think you were sharing earlier. I know my wife and I, we have just from being at EXP, really not doing anything else except being here and doing our job. We have over $20,000 in stock. I mean, that's not a bad deal, right?
It's amazing. I'm so passionate about this. So I'll pipe up for a minute. When I came to EXP, I wasn't weighing the stock in my decision, which is ridiculous now that I've seen the reality of it. And the slide covers it. So the thing that I love is that you're awarded stock the first time you produce. The first time you have a closing with EXP, you get stock. You can earn stock when you fully cap. And if you sponsor someone, you earn stock. So I was just looking at my statement before starting. I've been at EXP since March of 2020, and I've earned about 9,000 in stock from sponsoring four productive agents. So think about that. That's a lot of stock for a couple people that are under me. And then the rest I've bought through closings. I think I've spent about 16,000 this year on stock through the purchasing 5% of each closing. And my portfolio is up to 61,000 with the growth as of today.
Amazing.
So it's insane. And I haven't even iconed yet. And when I do, I'll get another 16,000 in stock back. And then that repeats year after year. Some people don't realize you can icon every single year and get your entire cap back. So even if you don't want to buy any stock, you're going to literally be given it as you produce. So
Yeah, you don't have to buy any stock. There's nothing
No.
that says you have to. You can choose to, you know. So yeah, absolutely.
Vlad, you did some numbers. Vlad, you did some numbers on this topic regarding cap in an old brokerage versus this, and the numbers were staggering. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Well, what I calculated, Devin, and everybody is, EXP went public in 2013. It was on one of the slides that David showed. And what I did is I said, you know what, if I joined EXP in 2013, and back then I had a small team, we were doing about 100 units per year. And in order to earn the Icon Award, one has to do about 30 or so transactions during the year. So, you know, I was well above that. And what would have happened if I just, you know, if I was at EXP from 2013 and then just kept earning the Icon Award without doing anything more, without starting the brokerages that I started, without building the things that I built, just doing that. Now, the calculation that I did was a few months ago. This is, you know, today the EXPI stock is at over 70. Back then, I think it was around 40-ish or so. I calculated if that EXP awarded stock would have been worth about $3 million today. Now, excuse me, that was 3 months ago. So today it was probably closer to 5. Now, you know, no regrets. You know, the best time was 2013. The next best time is today. And that's just the power of the stock, of the equity. And remember, it's not just equity, because there may be companies giving away equity, but if there is no growth, that equity, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So it was the fact that in 2013, it was like Devin said, penny stock. A good buddy of mine in the Maryland area joined EXP like 4 years ago. He texted me a few months ago when he was getting his 3rd or 4th Icon Award. The first one he got was at $3.74. So he got 16,000 in EXP stock at $3.74. Today, that's 20 times. Today, the stock is worth 20 times what it was before. So he paid the company 16 grand. He got 16 grand in EXP stock. Today, that $16,000 award is worth $320,000 US.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
US. Not Canadian, not Australian, US. Just have to put that in
it's
there.
Awesome. No, so listen, I want to jump forward now, and you know, I want to talk about the revenue share plan, and I do want to be really clear. You know, when I was a team leader at my past company, and I listen, I grew up in the company. I don't want to say anything negative about the company, but we used to tell, you know, one of the things I would say to as a team leader is, listen, you forget about EXP because they're going to make you want to recruit, and your business is going to fall apart because you go over and you start recruiting. That was one of the lines I used when I talked to agents that were considering it. And now it's interesting that when I'm here, the reality is you don't have to recruit at all. You don't ever have to recruit one person. You don't even need to talk to people about EXP. If you choose to do that, great. But there's nothing that says you have to come to EXP and recruit agents. And I've had people reach out to me, Vlad, I know you recruited a lot of people at Keller, and say, well, geez, I don't know if EXP is right for me because I'm not into like recruiting or network marketing or any of that stuff. Like, why does everybody think that you have to, Devin? I mean, why does everybody think if you come to EXP for some reason you have to recruit?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that it really interesting thing is that we, you know, what you actually don't have to recruit, as you know, you just have to know somebody who knows how, right? And so one of the great things that you could consider doing is you could consider plugging in with somebody who you know is a great recruiter and just put them to work. I think for me, one of the things that's really interesting about this slide is
I just jump in 1 second? Can I please say you can come and do none of that. You can just come and run your business and have awesome technology and have awesome support and make money and get your money back if you want, when you know, if people join. you don't have to do any recruiting, right? So, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but
you
you don't even need to find someone else. You can
made
just
me
come and run your business.
You made me think of a
and have the best
conversation with your
tools.
wife. You made me, I had a conversation with your wife and she's like, I don't want to recruit. Right. And I said, hey, no worries. Do you like yoga? And I know she loves yoga. And have you ever told anybody about yoga? And she said, yeah, I've told people about yoga. I said, do you like the way that you eat? Have you ever shared a recipe? She said, yeah, it's the same thing. Right. And so at the end of the day, what we're talking about is just sharing something that you love. And by the way, I'm not saying that you need to recruit. I just know that what happens is that every single person that's ever watched this video or ever will has been recruited and has recruited to something if they've ever been in a relationship of any kind. Because at the end of the day, it's all about recruiting, just so you understand.
I want to add one thing to this. I think what Devin said is so powerful. And the reason that EXP is growing so well organically is because the agents who are here are just so happy. And in my last company, there was so much promised and it was hard to deliver all of it at a high level to all of the agents and hit all these metrics. And it was actually much harder to grow organically through word of mouth in that system. And that's the thing about EXP that just shocked me as a producing agent myself is it's so easy to be here. I am so happy. So the recommending is just more natural and it's still optional, but that's what is driving the growth in my opinion.
Yeah. And to Devin's point too, and he, mentioned V, what's happening, Devin, now is V doesn't do any per se recruiting at all. People reach out to her now. Right. I'm like, hey, how's it going over right? Jim and I were talking about that a few weeks ago, right, Jim? I mean, how many people have reached out to you and you haven't?
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, I'm not a recruiter. I wasn't a recruiter at my last company. I'm not a recruiter here. But if I have something that's good and somebody's reaching out to me and asking me how's it going? And I get those Facebook messages, phone calls, emails, text every day. These are people I care about. And if I think it's a good fit, which a lot of times it is, I will say, hey, let's have a conversation further about this. And my opinion is the business that I have, a big team, I don't see a better place to run your business. I really, for our team, there's been nothing that I feel is missing.
So how does it benefit your team, Jim? I mean, when you talk about, for having a big team, why is EXP a better fit?
So I talked briefly about the training. Some additional things were just, the training compensation is better for my team members. My team members have this opportunity for revenue share. They have an opportunity for the stock. So there's all these different things, these benefits that they have. One of the biggest things I will tell you is my team never had access to high level training. And I feel like through Thrive, I've actually been able to get my team to learn the same stuff I learned. And that was something that I felt was always missing. And that's probably the most valuable thing to a team, because then I don't have to worry about being the one that's delivering everything. I have others that can do it too.
Yeah, I love it. I wanted to touch a little bit on the rev share slide. And let me see if I can figure out how to, my button seems to have disappeared. I know Vlad.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're welcome to add something, Devin, if you like.
I just was going to say the reason why revenue share exists, very simple, is that I'm not a big fan of the word revenue share simply because it's actually a referral. It's a professional lifetime referral, and it stays with you while that person is with the brokerage. So I like to call it referral share, and every agent understands agent to agent referrals. And that's all this really is. It's a one-time referral agreement that's created between you and the person that you introduce. And that's how you create this revenue opportunity. But it's really it's just like any other referral that we would give or take from agents to agents.
Before Vlad,
Devin,
did you have something?
One small caveat. It's the company that pays the referral, not the agent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so nothing's coming out of the agent's commission when somebody joins. It's coming from the company. So the company's actually giving back.
That's right.
Matter
of fact,
awesome.
Yep.
So I'm going to jump to the next slide. We talk about the EXP world, and Tina, who, by the way, runs a team out in the Baltimore area. You guys are closing 100+ homes a year, right? For
Yeah,
years,
and
or
I'll keep this quick because yes, I've a high producing team and I've been in a lot of companies. I've used a lot of technology. I've purchased my own technology when my own companies didn't work repeatedly. So I would just say, like, I don't know if there's an overview slide that shows kind of all the pieces, but the tech suite really replaces everything that people are used to having in a physical office. As far as EXP World is your place to go to training, go see your broker, go see the payment processing specialist, which is the person that is generally processing your commissions. So EXP World is the place for that. And then the rest of the tech stack covers you so much beyond that. There's something called Workplace, it's literally Facebook, but a private Facebook setting for everybody at EXP. So you have a national water cooler, groups, places to learn, connect, message people, also another channel to reach out to the staff of your brokerage. And then the thing that I'm probably the most passionate about tech-wise is the incredible CRM that EXP gives everybody access to. And a lot of other companies try to create their own CRMs or license something that is sort of mediocre, and EXP's partnered with one of the best CRMs out there that's been around for a really long time. It is extremely high functioning. It does all of the CRM things that is on any agent's wish list who is kind of up on what CRMs could do if they could automate and, bring your Facebook leads in automatically, and all the different things that help us sell more houses, convert more easily, and not waste time with spreadsheets and not having what we need. So it's all there: transaction management, contract management through SkySlope, and then, whole branding and marketing suite, flyers, templates, brochures, business cards. So it's everything you need is in one place. It's all online. It works. It's beautiful. EXP just did an incredible rebrand. You can see the new logo all over this. That was one objection people had. That's been removed. And that's like really a good example. Like, everything about EXP that could be upgraded, the leadership is on board. There's no ego about keeping things the way they used to be for reasons I've never understood about other companies. And there's a willingness to continue to innovate and improve. And when I came over, I heard from one of the top leaders that they were working on the logo. And I wondered if they meant it or if they were just saying that to make me feel better because I didn't like the old logo, but they meant it. And here we are with something much better. So to me, that's just more and more proof how serious the company is about continuing to iterate and improve everything they do.
I love it. I can't, and I gotta add with the broker, with regards to the EXP World and the support, I'll be honest, I'm not a person that spends a lot of time in there. I know Devin's always on me about that. Devin spends a ton of time in there. But the time that I go in there is when I need to have a question answered. Like if I'm stuck with something, or if I need to talk to the broker, and it's amazing. Like the couple times I've gone in there, I log in, and within, I think the longest I've ever waited was 10 minutes. And then I'm sitting in front of either a broker or somebody that can answer my questions. And it's not like I'm waiting in a waiting room. As my computer screen's open, I'm doing other things. I'm on my CRM, I'm in my calendar, maybe I'm on a phone call. You know what I mean? It's phenomenal. I've never experienced anything like that support. Okay. And then the other thing is with the tech that Tina talked about. At my old company, I always, and I know, Jim, you can relate to this too, probably Sean as well, I always had to buy a tech stack. Like, I had Boomtown for years, and so I'd have to buy Boomtown and have to do this, or I had Conversion, or I had Follow Up Boss and YLopo. And that was my biggest surprise when I moved over, and I said, holy cow, I don't need to pay $1,200 a month for YLopo anymore and another $200 for Follow Up Boss. Like, really? That was just like the bonus. How cool is that? Sean, you want to add anything
Yeah,
here
very cool.
with regards to some of the tech?
Well, all of this is because of cost compression, right? So if you look at the traditional bricks and mortar model, right, they've got, depending on how you count it, 7 to 11 layers of employees, ownership that they have to pay. So, if somebody's sitting back, and I did for quite a while, what's the catch? What's their secret sauce? There is no secret. It's literally cost compression. And then they're using revenue share and stock and things like all of this tech stack that they give you that you used to have to purchase. They're giving that to you included in the cost of the brokerage because they can, and they can still make a profit. So there really is no, there's no secret sauce going on here. It's just they decided to build the entire brokerage on a digitally based platform, and it's working, and now they can scale it, and they've already built it. So it's not like they have to go and reinvent the wheel all over again. Like once Tesla builds, the Model S and the factory to build the Model S, it's just a matter of scale, right? They don't have to go back and build a new Model S. The cool thing is though that they can keep improving it and offer even more features, right? Like Tesla's going to come out here with full self-driving capability. So that's the kind of stuff that's happening at this company, and it's it's interesting to watch. And yeah, of course it's helpful to the agent because now I don't have to think about that stuff. I don't have to manage it. I don't have to interview the companies. I don't have to, I don't have to deal with with sometimes maybe kind of empty promises of stuff, that's coming down the pipe that never actually shows up. So you're just dealing with one central entity.
Yeah, I love it. It really is kind of like logging into like your Amazon account and you have access to everything you need right there in one place. And it's awesome. So I'm going through, I know I skipped a lot of these slides, and, I wanted to touch on a few of the slides, which we did. I think everybody did a fantastic job sharing. Tina, you talked about the enterprise. So again, I think if you want more information on this, you can actually get access to these slides by going to Devin. What's the site again for if somebody wants to access the slides? Devin is muted, I think, but I think if you go to David I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think is yours davidhill.exprealty.com, I believe it is. If you want to go to Jim Black. I'm sorry, dot careers. Thank you, Sean. Jim Black. Yep, .careers, exactly. Tina just verified. So davidhill.exprealty.careers is where you go to get it. And then of course you can message us or call us or text us or do the old fashioned smoke signals. Those always work.
And then, you got SkySlope, which is our transaction management software where you can get your digital signatures and everything that you need to do. I mean, I operate my whole business from an iPad. I've got a really nice iPad 10. I write on it with the pencil. I don't need anything else. I literally don't, I don't carry business cards anymore. I don't any of that. I mean, I'm not saying don't carry business. I'm just saying for me, I love it. I absolutely love it. So you got your SkyScope, you got your workplace. Tina talked about workplace. What a great place for collaboration. I didn't even know Facebook had, there was another version of Facebook for professionals before I joined EXP. Really, really cool. Your CRM, can't say enough about the CRM. Man, your IDX is built right into your CRM. Before this, I used YLOPO and Follow Up Boss, and I'd have to scroll back and forth to send somebody a listing, or I'd have to go into the MLS. Now I can do it right from my CRM. So we can talk more about that, marketing, branding, some of the preferred partners. So I don't want to get too much into the weeds, but, joining EXP, some of the things that, we want to talk to you about are, so here's some of the numbers. Some of you might have watched this, like, okay, what does it cost? What ultimately does it look like if I decide I want to join EXP? So really this is it. There's no like special deals or no, if on Tuesday you get, half price on this, this is what it is, right? I mean, Jim, you talked about the team, right? How does this setup benefit somebody like you that has a big team? You have 13 people on your team, right?
Yeah, team of 14, and not to get into the weeds with it too much, but it's allowed me to run because of the way it's set up, run all the commissions through the brokerage as opposed to paying my team members bonuses because of the costliness of that. So and my team members are all, this split structure is much more advantageous for them. So every one of my team members is netting more money. And they're also getting, again, many of them are getting revenue share, and, the majority of them are contributing to the stock plan and getting the stock awards. So it's really a no-brainer for any of my team members. It's actually easier to recruit to my team because the comp model's better.
Yeah. And as a team, then it's, you pay a 16,000 cap, and then the team members are 8,000 caps. correct? So 8,000, and then they're not paying any more money to the company, and they're earning whatever the team split is.
Yeah, and there's definitely some nuance depending on the size of your team. I think the way I would look at this and think about this is the beauty of EXP is that the comp structure is extremely rewarding. And like there's a brokerage here, I don't know if they're national, they're called Taylor Properties. Like there are companies where you can like pay $100 a month and a per deal fee and keep 100% of your commissions. EXP is the sweet spot in the middle between like extreme minimal cost or more bigger caps or royalty fees and on from there. And the thing that I love is that EXP collects enough from the agents to add massive value and to fund the tech and to be well staffed and to have amazing brokers and to have enough payment processors that I never get. I'm never waiting to be paid. So it's fair, it's well funded, it's well run, it's constantly improving. And if you're, and you know, can get to the icon status, you get your whole cap back anyway. So it's perfect. Like if you value a company that is sustainable and well run, sometimes people wonder that about EXP. They even think that the cap is too low. But once they understand that it's because you're not paying for office space and middle management and all that physical stuff, that's where 80% of the money goes in most brokerages anyway. So I love it. I just love it.
Can't say enough. I get it. So the reality is, let's say you listen to this and you're like, wow, that sounds really awesome. I want to join. So the startup's $149. That's it. It costs you $149 to get signed up. That covers your first month. And then it's $85 a month, which gets you all the tools. You get your KV core, you get everything else you need to be massively successful. As again, I'll share with you that I was paying $1,400 a month plus desk rental space, which was about $300 a month, plus other fees. And now I have access to all that for $85 a month, a broker review fee when I close a transaction, and a $40 management fee when I close a transaction. So it's amazing. I don't know, anybody else want to add anything to this? I don't know how you can beat it.
I would just say that for me, as I look at the model, like Tina said, just to drive the point home, it's great for beginning agents, somewhat experienced agents, mega teams, and independent brokers. It's made for every single opportunity that's out there. And that's why you're going to see the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of real estate brokerage over the next 12 months, because it makes sense. It makes sense for the company. She mentioned about it has to be profitability. Absolutely. But guess what? The company commits 50% of all profit back to revenue share. So the fact is that no matter how profitable the company is going to be, they've already committed to adjust revenue share to distribute 50% back to the entire company.
Awesome. So, you know, I probably went a little more in the weeds than I intended to, which is fine. You know, I'm guessing anybody that listened to this whole thing and is still listening right here has some pretty serious interest in looking at EXP or joining EXP. So what would you say, Devin, is the next step for someone that is listening to this, right? Has listened to this whole 49 minutes or however long it was.
Well, first of all, they should have a drink of water. That is,
sure. I have some water right here.
And then they should also be really serious about reaching out to you or anybody that introduced them to this video, or whomever they feel is the most qualified to help them on their journey. And I think that the challenge that we have for us right now is not a matter of whether or not; it's a matter of when. I can tell you that I want to just tell you a quick story about Gene Frederick, who's one of my mentors. He went, before he announced himself that he was making a transition back in 2015, he went and spoke to 9 very influential people in his world. And for the first 4.5 years, all the way up until middle of 2019, 9 out of 9 were not with him. Since then, 7 of the 9 have now come over to EXP from prior brokerages. And the point is that it's not a matter of whether or not, it's a matter of when. Just go ahead and go deep enough and investigate this to the level where you can make sure that you're not listening to someone else's story.
You know, and something I think to end on too is that, and I'd love to hear from everybody on this point, is, you know, I see a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of people, and they reach out to me, or sometimes I reach out to them, and they get really, really excited about, you know, doing something, making a change in their life, maybe something bigger, more exciting. And then they let fear, kind of stop them in their tracks, and I mean, it's like, what would you say to someone? Like, for me, it's, I don't know, it's easy for me to say, just feel the fear and do it anyway. Right. But I'd love to kind of hear from each of you, kind of in closing this up, like, how does somebody make that move? Like, because the reality is the only thing that's going to stop you from making it is just your own thought process. Like, if you're excited and if you listen to this and you're excited, then don't let that go away. Move. How does somebody move forward, Devin?
Well, I love this question. I could speak for another hour on this
Yeah,
topic, but
we're not going to do that.
I'm going to
but
try
yeah,
and keep it very short. So
yeah.
here's the thing, is that whatever you've been doing up until now, it's completely okay. Whatever you did up until now identifies you with whomever you were with, right? Or whoever you're currently with. Whatever that was, it looks really good. Just understand that the biggest opportunity here is to look at what is best for you. This is not about, well, I've got a great broker. Well, is your broker going to feed your kids and put them in college? Is your broker going to do the things that are going to help you create a legacy? If not, that's where you want to go. Go to where the opportunity is and be okay with whatever you have been doing. It's not about, oh, I love the XYZ company. It's about what is best for me and the future. That's what you need to think about.
Great point. Love that.
I'll
Absolutely.
add my parting shot, and just
All
to like ping pong off of what Devin said. I think that point of like, are you listening to someone else's story? I was on the inside of my last company, and they had their own messaging about EXP, which was in their, understandable corporate self-interest to not have people go there. So I actually didn't investigate the actuality of EXP. So what I will say is, like many real estate agents, you're happy at your company until you're not. And suddenly you're like, well, maybe this isn't the best thing for me. Let me go look. And that's what happened. And when I actually investigated the model, there's this saying around EXP, it's kind of annoying, but like, it's true, where people are like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yeah. But it's true, because I sat down and I looked at the model and I said, you know what, this actually makes a lot of sense. This could be really good for me. And I still had, speaking of the fear that David referenced, I had a lot of like rhetoric in my head that had been programmed towards me. And I felt the fear and did it anyway. And then was pleasantly surprised by many of the things I've shared on this Zoom. So yeah, it's like, do your own research.
For me, it's interesting because I spent my last month, 8 months at Keller Williams as a recruiter. I was actually calling independent brokerages for KWRI, and I had the privilege of working directly with Gary Keller and Jason Abrams. And that's who I was in, that team. I worked for you guys for a little bit. And it was interesting as I'm doing this. And and again, I don't want to take anything away from KW. I mean, I 18 years at that company, I wouldn't be where I am today. But what I realized was a lot of the stuff that I was talking to these independent brokerages about frictionless borders, about being able to expand, about having the best technology. What I had realized was a lot of that stuff was actually at EXP. And it was ironic that when I was having these conversations, especially with EXP agents, I couldn't get them to budge. And I was perplexed by it. And then it just occurred to me like, wow, there's actually really something there. And it got me to start looking at EXP. And then here I am at EXP. It's interesting. But anyway, yeah. So Sean Goerss, man, same question.
Yeah, look, you whoever's listening to this, you're going to be successful wherever you are, right? You're going to be successful wherever you are. And when you move to another brokerage, that does not have to cast judgment on where you have been. So we can come with a heart of gratefulness and thanks for everything, David, like you were mentioning, everybody in your life, everybody in your workplace, everybody that has, poured into you and has benefited you. And it's okay to say, thank you so much. And this is my future. And it is, so I'm giving you permission. Anybody who needs to hear that, Devin will love this, right? I am giving you permission to move on to what is next for you. And if it's not EXP, if it's, some other place, that's fine too, right? So there's no judgment. There's nothing but love and gratitude. And that doesn't mean that we have to stay attached to that previous company or that previous opportunity. That might have been good for you at the moment. I'll tell you, part of it for me was, David, overnight, from my people, my agents, we put $250,000 back in their pocket, right? And the ability to own stock, have a rev share plan, multiple streams of income, get into business with anybody, anywhere in the United States. You talked about friction. So just know that in making decisions like this, it's good to do your own due diligence. And I was in the same thing. Had I actually done my own due diligence, I might have made a different choice. And yet, if this is the moment for you, then reach out to one of these people and do some more due diligence if you feel like you need to. And, you know, hey, what's the worst thing that happens? You look at it, and at that time in your life or in your career, you say, it's not a fit. And we, you know, I think we would all of us have a track record of doing this. Say, I don't know if this is a fit for you right now. You don't have enough pain where you're at, you know, whatever that might be for you. I'm happy to tell you, I don't know if it's a fit. And yet I think what you're going to find is like, you know, if I said, David, do you want a Tesla? Do you want a Tesla? Most people would say, yeah, sure. I'll take a Tesla.
I do.
My kids would say that, right? My kids will only get a Tesla now. They're like, look at, there's a Tesla, they want a Tesla, man. So, you know, whatever that is for you, just open yourself up to possibilities and know that it's okay, whatever you decide. It's all right. It's all going to work out fine.
That's the cool thing, right? It's like you can take a look at it. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, that's fine too. You're a little bit more educated, right? That's
assume you're wrong, right? What if you were wrong? And I you know, play that now, right? Assume that I was wrong, that EXP was the best place for me. Is there something better out there? And if you start with out of curiosity and thankfulness, then, you know, that's generally a good energy spot to be in.
Awesome. And, you know, Mr. Jim Black, why don't you want to jump in? What do you want to leave people listening to this with?
So I think, I guess I got to think about my decision. And I always like to say it was two decisions. I had to look at, you know, next 5 to 10 years is where I am going to get me where I want to go. The answer was no. So then I had to start exploring and figure out what was number two. It was really two decisions. Where I was not going to get me, and then I had to make a decision on where that was going to move to. And you guys just happened to show up at that time, and it was where you know, it was where I needed to be. And I think the biggest question that somebody asked me was, am I doing what's best to help my team members grow wealth? And the answer was no. So that was something that hit me hard because I prided myself on that.
You mean staying where you were, right?
Yeah, staying where I was. So what I was doing, was that the best opportunity for my team members? And it was not. And that was where my mind really opened, because I realized it wasn't just about me when I'm making this move for my team. It's like, what is the best for most? It was the best move for me, but it was even, I think in a lot of ways, better for my team. And I felt like it was the right leadership move for me to make that move for my team specifically. And it's, you know, I think there's many brokerages that work for many different people. Again, I still think that for a team model, this is the only one that works really well for a large team, but it's worked well for me. And again, the two decisions was probably the most profound thing I had to realize, is I wasn't making one decision of moving up from one brokerage to another. I was making a decision to end one relationship and a decision to start another.
Awesome, Jim. Well, thank you. Thank everybody. And you know, if you're listening to this, by the way, you just listened to, you know, this isn't a bunch of new agents talking to you about, you know, how they came to EXP and did their first deal. You're talking about, you know, people that, you know, 500 transactions, 250 transactions. Sorry, Tina, you and I both, I think I maxed out at about 112. You're at about 120 or whatever. Like, so we're like the low producers here in the group, right? And, you know, Devin, I mean, so, you know, this is something worth paying attention to, right? It's not just like, yeah, hey, so I'm glad I was able to put this together. I'm glad you guys joined me today. And, you know, I think it was awesome. I mean, I don't know if I know Devin, I know you want to throw anything final, Devin Doherty, final thought in there before we wrap it up, or?
Well, I just feel very blessed. I just want you to know that during this holiday season, and we're, you know, the fact that we're at the end of the year, you know, there's a lot of people that are considering what 2020 was all about and what 21 is going to be about. And I just would ask everyone to really consider what the biggest opportunity is, like how big this real opportunity is. And that is not for them. It's specifically for them. And I just feel very, very blessed to be able to reflect on this year and say, I made the best decision for my family's financial history of my life this year. It's a pretty good feeling.
That's awesome. And we just had Mr. Kevin Wallace join us. He's a newer agent at EXP as well. So welcome.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey,
All right,
Kevin.
awesome.
Hey guys, how are you?
All right, everybody. Thank you. And again, if you wanna learn more, you can get the slides at Devin. One more time, where can I get the slides? Thank you.
davidhill.exprealty.careers. davidhill.exprealty.
Or you know what? Or just send me an email, right? david@davidihill.com, or reach out to anybody that you could relate to on this conversation, or anybody that, you know, shared and you're like, wow, I can relate to where they are in their business. I'd love to have a conversation with them. I know any of you guys are more than happy to and you guys want to just quickly throw your email out there, or so people have it, or your phone number, or the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, I'm tina@tinabeliveau.com.
Yeah, and I'm Devin, Devin at DohertyRealEstateGroup.com, or 949-328-6995.
And just DM me. I'm on the social medias. I think Jim is on mute.
Awesome. And Jim?
Jim@jimblackgroup.com.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, David.